I'm going to test and verify on my channel real quick. Let's see what's going on here. I had a user request me, say one of my, I don't know if it's a subscriber or it's just somebody who was viewing the channel, but they requested that I discuss my character build info in this game because I'm having a pretty easy time with some of the bosses, and other people are, struggling with it, which is understandable. Actually, this game I don't think is very good as far as the balancing goes, like the different classes you can play as. Not that there's like a specific class, but it's like you can build your character out through multiple skill trees, and some of it's pretty reasonable and makes the game pretty easy, and some of it I don't think they know what the hell they're talking about because they've made it in such a fashion where it's like you can't beat certain bosses, or it's like extremely difficult versus the way I'm playing it is kind of like on easy mode, I guess. The only reason I know how to do this particular build out, or a guy I was playing the game with in the pre-launch, like the alpha or the beta. All right, here we go. So he showed me how he was building his character, and so I've more or less emulated it, and I've like fiddled around with it since then. There's like different ways you can do it they've added more skills to the game too since it launched, so it's not exactly the same as it was, but part of it's gear, and then part of it's just building out the skill tree. So I'm level 36 right now. When I killed Lamback, I think I was level 34, and then I just killed the boss after that one, where you get the second piece of the Hellion, and I can't remember that guy's name because it's hard to pronounce, but it's like, it starts with an S. I did it, Sindarahel. I just did a video on that one last night, so I whooped his ass. He was easy. So anyways, to show you my build out, I really don't have like amazing gear yet, but I do have a good weapon, which has been important. And then actually last night I started playing with the reroll gem system over here. That this wasn't in the game on the pre-alpha either, and that's helped.
Anything can
So
look better with the right gem.
you can throw a piece of gear in here that already has sockets on it and pay a small amount of gold, like 360 gold or something, and it will. You can
Thank you for your custom.
you can
We appreciate
randomize
it.
what gems you have, or what sockets you get on something, I should say. So like I've added a couple sockets to each of to this. I've got one on here, my pants, and then I got a couple on my weapon. And so you can see on the weapon I've got critical hit damage bonuses. And then the total damage on this thing, that's way higher than any other weapon I've found so far. Even in the pre-release of the game, I don't think I had anything that was this strong. And so this has been a really good sword. And it's only level 29. So, I mean, there could be better stuff out there. I got lucky on this. I used some of these, well, I may not have any of them. I forget what the hell. They're like a sphere of entropy or something that lets you change, like randomly change the stats on a piece of gear. Like it'll just randomly change what magical effects it had. This thing was okay when I got it, and I used like 4 of those spheres of entropy, and the last one turned it into how it is now. And then I added more sockets to it using the vendor over there. So now I have like these massive occult damage bonuses. It does 3% life leech, which is nice. But just in general, it does huge occult damage. And then I used crit damage bonuses for crystals, which has helped. So we've got that, and then I'll go ahead and bring up my character sheets here. So I'm pretty much built mostly into ferocity because that gives you huge crit chances. So like when I do get a crit, like I have a crit chance of almost 45.5%, and when I use like my shouts, I think that goes up a little more. I don't know if that's gonna, yeah, 48.2. So about half the time I critical hit, and then when I do critical hit, I get even more bonuses out of the sword using those crystals. The rest is toughness and a little bit of agility, just so my attack speed doesn't. Sorry about that. There's something wrong with this game. Like usually when I start it up, like the first time I hold shift to do an attack, it'll bring up like your friends overlay. Like the game doesn't keep good focus for some reason. But my average damage is about 2200, and then when I shout, it's 2746. Now in the pre-launch of the game, I was up to like 4000 or something, and that was because I had a lot of legendary gear and unique items that currently I haven't acquired yet. I haven't been playing the game but a couple days, and they seem to have changed how often you find stuff like that. So I have like 2 unique items. I've got this dagger, which isn't bad, and this staff, but they're low level now. and I've got these from doing like the main quest line of the game, but I've replaced them with better armor since then. But I kind of tend to use mostly bruiser gear. So you see I've got the bruiser chest plate, which gives me huge health bonuses, and then I added 2 crystals that also give me a couple bonuses of health. Give me 1 second here. I want to see if, I don't know if I have any way to check to see if anybody's watching or asking questions in the chat channel. It does look like somebody may be watching, but I don't know if anybody is, I don't think anybody's asking or asked a question yet, so whatever. If anybody has any questions, ask them in the comment section below after the video is done, and I'll try to answer them, but hopefully this will be sufficient to walk you through. Okay, so like I say, my damage is pretty high, but it goes a lot higher than that later if you can find better gear. I had like all legendary stuff. Me and this guy, we played online together, and we did like level 50 plus content, and we both had pretty insane stuff. I had like a warhammer with 3 sockets, and it did, I don't know, the base damage I don't think was really any higher than this, but between that and all the bonuses I was getting from gear, it was really high. The skills I'm using are Wings of Ishmir. I have that to level 37. Sovereign Shout at 37. Bleeding Edge is 37. Flight of Gavanir is like the hammer throw. That's at 37. Your basic attack. And then Anvil's Woe I have at 38. And those are all the, so those are the skills that I've been using. I think that this Bleeding Edge for bosses seems to be the best one, especially like, okay, I'll show you how I have it laid out here. I've got, this one is the big one, I think, that casts the location of the cursor. So you don't have to be near the guy. You can just use it from a distance to wherever your mouse is pointing at, and it'll just beat the shit out of them from a distance. And you can do multiple at one time, so that helps a lot. So you can cast like 2 of them on the guy, and they'll just sit there and keep spinning because I have the, it drops the damage and increases the rage cost, but it makes it run for plus 4 seconds. Normally, in the pre-alpha or whatever, in the pre-release, this thing lasted a lot longer than it does now. Like it would spin for quite a while naturally. They seem to have really reduced that since they launched the game, but this adds that long duration back on it. So now it'll go for like a little over 4 seconds and it'll spin in the same spot. So you cast a couple of them, they'll just keep damaging that boss, especially a big stationary boss like Lambak. So that's good. This ups the critical hit chance score, and then this is, like I said, the one that casts the location. As I level up, man, my mouse is screwing up. I'm sorry. I'm using like a Wi-Fi mouse, and it seems like I'm not getting really good reception. So hopefully that doesn't screw me up too bad. But anyways, as I go on, I can add more things back in that increase your damage, reduce the rage costs. But these are the important ones I found for fighting bosses like stationary bosses, or even bosses that may move around a little bit or something, but you can kind of sort of kite them around and keep them in the area of effect of the ability. It does a lot. Let's see. So this does a ton of damage too. I can do like 12, 13,000 damage with this already. So this is, what the hell is it? The hammer. Anvil's Woe. Critical hit chance score, weapon damage, and it converts it to lightning damage. Although, I don't know if that's really that important or not, converting it to lightning. And critical chance, again, on enemies afflicted with stun. Some of these other ones are probably useful. I haven't really played around with that much. That increases the speed, but reduces the damage. I don't care about that. I just want to do more damage. Increases the chain of explosions in front of you. That might be useful, but it drops the damage quite a bit. Critical hit chain. Yeah, I don't know. Some of this stuff may or may not be all that useful, but the way I have it set up, I like it how I have it. I use my shouts. Grants buff to all resistance per enemy hit by the shout. So I get 15% resistances. Increases duration of the buff. Ups my critical hit chance by 25%. Increases the effectiveness of all the buffs granted by the skill and other skills, and gives me 25% rage generation on hit, and increases rage by enemies that are hit with the shout. So all that's to keep me able to continue to keep pumping my skills, ups my resistances, ups my critical. It's like, basically that's why I use a two-handed weapon too. Like if you use a one-handed weapon, the damage on it, this is like the best one I've got so far, which is not a bad one-handed weapon, and I keep a shield around so I can, if I want to go one-handed and have more defense, I can do that. But the damage on this is obviously piddly, and your skills seem to be based off of the base damage of the weapon. So again, 159 to 250 is a huge base damage in this game so far. That makes your skills do asinine damage. When I switch to this, my skills just drop to shit. Like, I think the base damage on this is just nothing by comparison. Yeah, it's like 1300 versus like 2200. So, yeah, I mean, major difference. So that really helps your skills do a lot more damage. I got to figure out how to bring up, let me see. how do I bring up the menu that shows my character build? That's it. Okay. I'm only used to bringing this up when I'm actually adding a point to it. So I'll show you guys how I'm built out, but it's pretty much all red tree with like some other ones where I was able to pick up like attack damage or crit. But that's all I'm pretty much focused on is attack damage and crit. And actually I need to redo my tree because I think I may have redone it. No, let me see. Yeah, see, I need to kind of redo this actually because I spent into fire damage at one point when I had a two-handed axe for a long time that did fire damage, and then I replaced it with that sword here recently, and so now I'm doing occult damage, so these aren't useful anymore. So I actually could be better built than I am, but it's effective enough. It's kind of like I haven't really needed to get too crazy with changing it yet. But basically it's, you know, soldier tree, everything with melee weapon damage, crit damage, crit damage, crit damage, 60% crit damage from the wild card, that's a really good one. Attack damage, crit damage. Cooldown skills for your skills is useful too, so you can use it more often. And then a little bit into resistance and health is important too. 25 toughness is good. More resistance, more health. Over here you get attack damage and crit, so I just grabbed that from that. I'm not going to continue that tree, but I was linked to it, so I could grab it. These are useful too. More rage per hit taken. There's another one I gotta find and show it to you. Let me see. Life leech is good. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yes, this one's really nice. Your willpower regenerated is transferred into rage. So passively, I just stand around and get rage now instead of willpower like you normally do. So as a melee class, that's all you want is boatloads of rage. Between that, getting stuff like this where you get more rage and you get hit, like I said, I should pick that up and drop like the fire damage. Although I guess, I don't know if I'd be able to get to that. Yeah, I could bypass it there. Well, I could get less fire damage anyway. Over here you get, yeah, see again, that's converting physical into fire damage. Stuff I don't really need anymore. So I could probably almost drop portions of this tree and pick up the ones that just give you more health. Yeah, you get the idea though. Melee weapon damage, melee weapon damage, melee weapon damage. Life leech is good, so you're just getting a little health back instead of dying. Attack speed is, it's kind of handy. I mean, if you're going to do a lot of basic attacks, it's not bad, but it's better to just do like the big damage, crit bonuses, crit chance, and base melee weapon damage. So when you do hit an enemy with a skill, it'll do a lot of damage. I'll go ahead and jump out somewhere here. Let's see. Just so I can demo the kind of damage that I'm able to do right now with this set up real quick. I mean, if you guys watched the boss battles I did, though, I did die once on Lamback because, like, he can hit you super hard and it just, like, one-shots you. I guess Val's still with me. She's kind of an idiot. She gets herself killed all the time, but whatever. She's fun to have around. I don't... shit, this is the boss battle location. That's not going to do me any good. Sorry about that. I'll just try going somewhere else. Sorry about that. I don't know if it's going to let me... That's the camp. Well...
The diversion has started.
We should hurry. They're counting on us to open the main gate.
I guess I'll just play through this a little bit. You guys can kind of see the storyline as I'm going. This might take me to a place where there's some combat. This will probably help. This is like one of these little mini dungeon kind of things. Kill Vincentus Breath of Annuli something or other. So I just hit that guy for over 4,000 with a basic attack. This is really one of my favorite abilities. Just the double hammer on it, although it drops the damage, I mean, you can pretty much wipe out large swaths of enemies like that. I just hit him for like 28,000 or something. Now, I still watch for other tuna weapons to drop because even like some of the blue ones can be quite good, but it's just sort of random luck. That's how a lot of these games are, like Diablo and everything. It's all RNG, random number generator, luck on what gear you get.
I can't.
Whoa. See, that's that ability to cast it anywhere. That's really useful. You can actually kill a lot of guys without them even like detecting that you were there yet. Ooh, 20% occult damage. Hello. Good ferocity. 100% chance to dodge, or 100 plus 100 dodge score. But yeah, see, that's another thing you got to look for on gear is like bonuses to whatever type of damage you're doing. Since all this is occult damage, the 91, the shadow and aether damage are both occult. So this is going to add 20% more to my occult damage. That's great. Plus the ferocity bonus. You want to try to find gear with that. Toughness is great, but I try not to sacrifice damage for a little more hit points or whatever. And I collect these things whenever I can get them to keep pumping the levels into my skills. Val's funny, but she'll get herself killed all the time. I almost never find anything off of drops that I can actually use for my class. It's always rogue and sorcerer shit. Got us a boss here of some kind. Bye! Alright, what do we got here? That's sorcerer. Bruiser pants. I tend to like to use bruiser. I mean, I use heavy when I can for the extra resistances, and sometimes they'll have good bonuses to ferocity. So yeah, that gives me good health, occult damage bonus, but it does not give any ferocity. I'll take it, but I probably won't use it. Okay. Yeah, that's garbage. Yeah, that's cool looking. Occult resistance. Too bad it wasn't occult damage. That would have been nice. Pyrenium Shadow Mold. Interesting name. Yeah, nothing really that good there. Alright. Well, hopefully this has been useful to you guys. This has basically been the layout for this character. Like I said, it's pretty much all red trees. Um, let me go back to that real quick just so you guys can see what trees it is. So this is, of course, the, I guess they call this the soldier tree or whatever. It starts, yeah. Soldier tree, warmonger, and Child of Fury is what I've got right now. Child of Fury is useful because you get the Furious Appetite skill, which generates your rage up really good. But some of these other skills, unless you're using fire damage, again, like I was, but now I'm using occult damage. But if I can get, something later that does more fire, again, this is a useful tree for that. I just unfortunately don't have that weapon anymore. But try to avoid maybe some of the fire skills, but get that, and then, flush out these trees as best you can with, like that'd be useful. More health, more rage reduction, more health regen, etc. Build up your health, build up your resistances, build up your damage, build up your crit chance and crit damage, and use large two-handed weapons with as high a base damage as you can find. and then find gear that pumps up the type of damage you're doing even more, like occult or elemental or physical, depending on what it is you're using. Hopefully this has been useful to whomever needs to know this kind of information. Thanks guys for watching. I'll try to post the next boss fight whenever I get further into the game here. I think this is chapter 3, and I think that's pretty much where the game ends after chapter 3. So I'll try to post that boss fight. Hopefully that will go well. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.